All right, so we've covered all the basics of creating an illustration and putting some color on there and some techniques to create special effects and light and shadow and all of that. I want to get into some of the other features that are in the adjustments section of Procreate. We haven't really spent a whole lot of time here, so I want to go into some details on that. Now, the first thing is opacity. Now, we've covered opacity for layers, and this is really does the same thing. It's just a different place. So like right now, we're on that lightning layer we created earlier. So if I go to that adjustment section, opacity will bring up that slider, and then you can just put your hand on the canvas to adjust that opacity back and forth. Works just like it does when you do a two-finger tap on a layer. So like if I, not one, but two-finger tap, it brings up the same thing. So it's just a different way to do that. So if you ever do an effect it's too much, too strong, opacity is a really easy way to kind of rein that in a little bit without having to redo it. There's also what's called a Gaussian blur, and this just makes things fuzzy. And there's a lot of different techniques you can do with that. Sort of like you could use it as the depth of field effect. So if I drew in a background and then blurred it, you would get that kind of depth of field effect where the background's blurry, but the main picture isn't. But you just click Gaussian blur. The same thing, you just drag that left and right, and you guys can see that is making that more. We do it like this, it looks like it's kind of, it's happening way behind him somewhere. And you can imagine how cool this would look if if you had a lightning storm. The further back you go, the blurrier they were, or something. There's lots of cool things you could do with Gaussian blur. So we'll leave him slightly blurry. Actually, I want to use this file with you guys, so you can see the original this way. All right, what else do we have? We have motion blur. I really like the way that Procreate handles motion blur because the direction that you move your finger on the screen determines which way the motion goes. So, for example, if I go left and right on my lightning, you can see it does that kind of effect there, So if it's traveling horizontally for some reason, then it would look like it's going that direction. Okay. If I undo that and go down to motion blur again, and this time, do it at a diagonal, you can see that it's moving diagonally. So that would be something we could do. You could actually combine this with the selection tool and get some cool effects. So like if let's say we go down to our inks here, and I selected all of that part of that glow, well, I can then go to the motion blur and move that to add some effects to that and what that looks like. you know so it just kind of depends on how you want to do it. Sometimes it might be best to just uh, flatten the layer, all the layers first, and then do your motion blur together, especially if you're doing something like this where the colors and inks are on separate layers. So one way you could do that, we were going to talk about this in a little bit, but if you go down to the actions, that little wrench, and go to copy, let's see, what is it? Copy, oh, canvas. Copy canvas. And then I can get on top of everything and go to actions again and click paste. It copies the entire contents of everything that we did. So now, if I go back to my selection and go to motion blur, then it's getting everything, not just the colors or just the inks, but it's actually affecting all of it. So that's one way you can do both. All right, I'm going to leave that layer up there, but I'm going to unselect it so it's not in the way. All right, what else do we have under adjustments? We've got perspective blur. It's just a different type of blur you can play around with. I really haven't played much with that. There's also a sharpen, which I'm not a big fan of. I want things to look the way I painted them or colored them. So, but you do have an option to go down to like one of your layers and then select the sharpen from adjustments, and again you can slide that around. This is really not the kind of thing that's going to sharpen that much though, so it's already pretty sharp. And what else is in adjustments? Noise. Noise can be used in some cool ways. So if I add, let's see, let's do this. Let's get on top of everything here. Go back to adjustments. Oh, the layer is empty. Let's go back to this one. So this is the layer that's on top of everything. I'm going to go to noise and adjust. You can see it does that like kind of TV uh, effect, you know, where everything looks crazy. So sometimes that's useful. I like to use it sometimes on skin, just to give it, to make it look like it's got some pores or something. So like I could go to my original selection, my original colors, use the automatic selection to select his skin, just twice in both places there, and then go to that noise and add it. And if I zoom up, again, I want this to be really subtle, so like you just can barely see it, right? So it's only at like 10% or something, 10 or 12%. And then when you come away from that, you know, it adds a little bit of texture to the skin. You don't want to overdo it and go crazy, but doesn't make it look quite as smooth, which is kind of cool. Hue, saturation, brightness we talked about earlier. If I redo that skin selection, for example, and go to hue, saturation, hue changes the hue. Looks a little bit like an 80s cartoon there. I don't know, I'll legally say which one. So we've got hue, saturation. We've got the amount of saturation. So all the way down, he's going to look gray. All the way up, he's really crazy colors. And then lightness and darkness. So you can play around with that stuff. We're going to undo all of these things. Undo. There we go. Color balance is kind of similar, but it lets you add a little bit more red, a little bit more blue, whatever it is you're wanting to take a look at there. There's also the green to purple and all these different things. It's a way to subtly adjust colors. And curves are kind of complicated. Even like to me, they're a little complicated. But you can drag this shape around to get different effects of light and dark, and you can add notches and do different things and get all sorts of craziness to happen. I don't use them that much. I don't understand it well enough to be honest. But it's one of those things that it's just another layer of adjustability that you have. You want a lot of control over it, but I never use it just because I can get what I need from levels, or not levels, but from color balance or from hue saturation. So not going to do anything with that today. And recolor just takes the color that you've chosen and floods it with that color basically. So right now that kind of bluish green is selected, and it's showing that up here. I never really use that either, so I'm not too big of a fan of that particular tool. So those are the main adjustments. Like I said, the ones you're probably going to use the most are opacity, hue, saturation, and color balance. And those are the ones I use the most. Really don't mess around with the others that much, but they are there if you need them. So I will see you in the next one.